Alright guys, we're going to talk about the second part of 10-5. When the dimensions of a figure are changed, proportionally the figure will be similar to the original figure. So when you have a change in the dimensions, when it's multiplied by A, well, the change in the perimeter or the circumference is going to be the same. The change is it's multiplied by the factor of A. When it's the area, it is A squared. So let's apply this. Okay, we have a circle with a circumference of 32 pi inches. If the area is multiplied by 4, what happens to the radius? Okay, well, what's given here is your circumference. Okay, so we need to find out what the radius is so we can find the area and then multiply it by 4. So let's find out what the radius is. If the circumference is 32 pi and circumference is 2 pi r, we can use the inverse of multiplication, which is division. And r equals 16 inches. Once we find out what r is, we can find out what the area is. Remember, area is pi r squared. So area is 16 squared. Therefore, the area is 256 pi inches squared. Okay, now that we have the area, we need to multiply the area by 4. So we're going to take the 256 pi and multiply it by 4. When we do that, the area equals 1,024 pi inches squared. Well, the question wants us to see how it affects the radius, so now we have to find the radius of this area here. So area equals pi r squared. Let's substitute in what we have for our area. And we can use the inverse operation and divide by pi. And then we can take the inverse of r squared, which is the square root. And r is going to be 32 inches. So our first radius was 6 inches, and then we multiplied it by 4 and got 32 inches. So what happened? What's the effect here? We took the first radius and we multiplied it by 2. Okay, we've got an equilateral triangle. It has a perimeter of 21 meters. If the area is multiplied by a half, what happens to the side lengths? Okay, so an equilateral triangle means all sides are congruent. So if our perimeter is 21 meters, to find out the side length, you would set up this equation. We need to know the side length so we can find the area and see how it affects it, okay? So you solve this one-step equation. So our side length is 7. Okay, so on this equilateral triangle here, area of a triangle is 1/2 of your base times your height. Well, we have the base. The base is 7. We don't know what the height is here. So let me redraw this. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to find out what h is right here. And what we have, I'm going to redraw that, is we have s. This is half of s. This is a right angle, and we need to know what h is. So what we can do here is we can use our 30, 60, 90 rule, because each one of these angles are 60 degrees. So if this here is 30, because we cut that in half, this here is 60, okay? So by using your 30, 60, 90 rule, h is going to be 1/2 s square root of 3. It's what this is right here, okay? So we have 1/2, our base is side, our height is 1/2 times our side times square root of 3. So what we have here is 1/4 side squared square root of 3. And our side is 7, so we can substitute in, and we can get 1/4 times 7 squared square root of 3, and that simplifies to 49/4 square root of 3. So here's your area of that triangle. Okay? Now, let me erase this. It's not going to erase. Okay, so for the area, we had 49/4 square root of 3 meters squared. Okay, and what we need to do is we need to multiply this by 1/2. And when we do that, we're going to get 49/8 square root of 3 meters squared. And we want to know what happens to the side length. Well, a little bit earlier, we had square root of 3/4 times s squared equals the area. So let's put that equal to the 49 square root of 3/8 and see how it affects the side. So what we're going to do here is we're going to solve for s. So the inverse of the square root of 3/4 is to multiply it by its reciprocal. So this cancels out. Let's do our cross simplify. So we have 49/2. And then we need to take the square root. So s equals the square root of 49 over the square root of 2, which is 7 over the square root of 2. However, we can't have a radical as our denominator, so let's fix that. So it's 7 square root of 2 over 2. Okay, so 7, up in your work, 7 is our starting side for this problem. So what's the effect? The effect is that you multiply the side by square root of 2 over 2. Okay, last one here. Explain why the graph is misleading. I'll let y'all think about this one. Okay, so if you look at the height from 2000 to 2003, the difference looks like it's about 1, 2, 2.5 to 3. Okay, strictly looking at the bars from here to here. Okay, so let's take the area of 2.5 and the area of 3. So when you take the area of 2.5, you square it. So this is going to be 9, and this is going to be 6.25. Okay, so what this is telling us is the area of the larger bar, which is this one right here, should be 6.25 to 9 times the area of the smaller bar. Okay? All right, guys, that's it for 6-5. Have a good one.